Good afternoon. Well, it's Christmas Day and I went to church for you this morning. That was very good. Beautiful service. Always the same on Christmas morning. Fabulous services. A thing that I really notice when I go to the church service or when I look at icons is that we have the wonderful picture of Mary, the mother of Jesus, and usually Jesus is in her arms and it looks like a very small adult, which mystified me for a long while until I realized that that was the artist trying to portray the fact that, like the Dalai Lama, Jesus chose to be here. So although his body was a baby size, his mind was certainly quite different to yours and mine. Oh, same as the Buddha. The mind is certainly quite different. And the wise men recognized it, and in the Buddha's case, the wise men recognized it, and the babies lived out their potential. So yes, have a look at the little Jesuses next time you look at icons. It's very interesting. I don't have any notices for today apart from saying to you that we're going to be looking at number 2 of the Purushatras. And when I saw this, I was quite surprised because the second one is on prosperity, ARTHA, A-R-T-H-A, prosperity. And I thought, goodness me, it's the most interesting teaching that we're meant to be prosperous. I must have been going through one of those ashes, acid and ashes times in my life, and I thought it was really interesting that prosperity would be an aim in a Buddhist life. I've since realized that unless you make the money, you can't give it away. I like giving away, but unless I make it, I can't give it away. I never quite make enough of it, and I always seem to give away more than I've got, which my accountant finds most perturbing, but it makes me blissfully happy. Try it sometime. So ARTHA is about having enough to live in the world with ease. It's not about having 5 million in the bank so you can count it. It's about living in the world with ease, having enough money and enough materials that you can live out your life and achieve your potential doing what it is you came to this life to do. So you can see there's a lot of questions here. It's not just about having enough money. It's not about living your life easily. It's about being able to do what you were meant to do. And unless you know what you were meant to do, then no amount of money is going to help you. You might be living a life of ease, but it's not living within the Buddhist way. I can think of a lot of professions that people live an easy life, but it'd be hard pressed to say that it was a life that was spiritually fulfilling. Is yours? Is your life spiritually fulfilling? Prosperity means having enough money so that you can buy the things you need to buy to be the person you need to be. So if being an artist is what you need to be, then you need to be able to sell your art in order to purchase more materials so that you can paint more paintings. If you want to be a yogi and serve your community and give stuff away, then you've got to make enough money somehow to allow you to give away your money and serve your community in the way that you want to. And when you are happy doing this, And I have to tell you, it's a blissful way to live. When you're happy doing this, that is what is called prosperity. Not having, 3 different kinds of can openers. It's about having enough money that you can do what you need to do in the world. There's a story about Mother Teresa. She was sitting in the gutter looking after somebody who was in the process of dying, and this, probably a Maharaja of some kind, drove up in his Rolls Royce, flags flying, and he got out, and there's the feather in the hair and the turban and the silks and the gold and the stuff on the fingers and gold around the neck and the chauffeur and the whole lot. And he came over to Mother Teresa and he said, I think you're absolutely amazing. He said, I don't know how you have managed to give up everything that you've given up. He said, I can't even give up one chapati at my meals. I have to have it all. And Mother Teresa said, I have given up nothing. You have given up everything. And that is the truth. ARTHA, prosperity, asks us to live skillfully in a world where we are cajoled all the time into indulgence. A world full of material objects that seem to be provided for our benefit. They're not, of course, just traps along the path. Particularly at this time of the year, it would be a good idea to start giving away stuff. I have a sort of rule at the moment that I don't bring something into the house without giving away something. So if I buy a book, I've got to give away a book. If I buy a piece of clothing, I've got to give away a piece of clothing. And that's added to my other giving away things. I'm not putting myself up as a fantastic person. I'm just saying that this is how it has made it easier for me to do this, because it doesn't come easy for me. Material things, if you're of my generation, my parents went through the war and they went through the Depression and they went through a number of small recessions, and I went through a big couple of recessions and lost everything a number of times, and bushfires and goodness knows what. So we're always losing things. If you have ever lost everything, then you're very concerned, even if it's not right at the top of your mind, you're very concerned about losing anything else. You mightn't even be aware that you're thinking these things, but you are. And you can tell when you start amassing so much stuff you can't close the wardrobe door. I help them sort stuff for the op shop. It's amazing how much comes in with the tags still on. They haven't been worn. They've been bought, put in the cupboard and gotten rid of. It wasn't the person wanted it or needed it, they just bought it. It made them feel good to buy. It was an entertainment to buy it. It didn't help them spiritually, it didn't help them materially. It just gave them that bit of a feeling of being able to afford it, even if they couldn't. A question you might like to ask yourself with this second of the Purushatras is, what do I think is truly valuable? Really sort that out. What do I think is really truly valuable? Is it money? Is it possessions? Is it family? Is it travel? What is it that you think is truly valuable? Keeping in mind that there is such a thing as suffering, and keeping in mind that we are living in an illusion. You might like to ask yourself, do you have enough of everything Or are you on a treadmill to get more? Is this everything, this stuff that you want, causing you to be not the person you want to be? Are you like a rat on a treadmill? You don't know why you're getting this stuff, but it makes you feel good, so you keep on getting it. You know, it's my theory that people get bigger houses nowadays because they've got all the stuff to put away. I don't know whether you realise it, but I certainly have, that lounge suites are getting ginormous. You know, there's add-ons and there's this and that comes to that and this comes out and that goes to the side. They're like caravans. And you need a huge house to put it. A friend of mine lived in America and he had a very nice 2-bedroom apartment, but he couldn't enjoy it because he couldn't open the wardrobe doors. If you open the wardrobe doors or any cupboard doors, stuff just fell out because his entertainment had become shopping. And he bought stuff to use another day. Well, I'm not sure whether he has used it another day, but really, it was the most depressing thing I think I've ever seen. Always buying, always update, always getting this, always getting that. Another question you might like to ask yourself is, are the things that I possess tying me down? That's a curly one. And that's you know, in my life, I'm dealing with you on a video, and then when I leave here I'll go and put it onto my computer, and all my records on my computer, and yes, I've got backups and this kind of stuff. But I just can't walk out and lock the door behind me and think everything is fine. Because it's not. There are systems and things that need to be attended to that happen on a regular daily basis that tie me down. When I lived in monasteries, all I had to do was to remember to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. If I was lucky, I could teach yoga at 4, and then we knew that there was meditation, and then there was breakfast, and then there was readings, and then there was meditation, and then there was lunch, and then there was gardening or whatever, manual labour, and then there was readings, and then there was meditation, because it wasn't an evening meal, and so on until 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and then it was lights out. But it just happened and happened and happened, so that we could get stronger on the inside, not get bigger houses and not get better clothes and not fill up the wardrobes. And I can tell you, it was so wonderful. And the people that I met in monasteries, people who had travelled and come from other places, the most wonderful thing that I heard was people who used to say to me, I love being here because nobody expects me to be anything other than what I am. I'm not judged by my shirt or my car or whatever. I'm just looking at some birds out the window. It's quite beautiful. Anyway, another question you might like to ask yourself is the opposite one. Am I afraid of having more, or am I afraid of having less? You know, an actual fear of having more or having less. Some people are absolutely, positively afraid of having less. There was a guy, when I had the farm, he had the adjoining farm to mine. His was a horse stud, you know, with all those beautiful white fences and air-conditioned stables and all that kind of thing. He was a very, very wealthy man. And I used to see him from time to time in restaurants in my town. And then I didn't see him. And he turned up again, and I was sitting talking to him, and I said, "Oh, you've been on holidays." And he said, No, I had a heart attack, and I had a bypass, and then I had this, and then I had a thrombosis, and he went on, the litany. And I said, "Oh, goodness me." And I said, "So are you taking it easy?" "Goodness me, no." He said, "No, I'm doing a big project." I said, "Oh, really? Where's that? What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm doing an office block." And I said, "I'm not quite sure that masterminding an office block would fit alongside your doctor's idea of you having a rest and being calm and recuperating." "Oh," well, he said, "the doctor just doesn't understand." I said, "Well, I'm having troubles as well. What are we supposed to be understanding here? You've got enough money. You couldn't spend the money that you have in this lifetime. Your children don't want the money. You own everything that you have, unless you've bought, $1 million watch and haven't paid for it. Everything you have is paid for. You have investments here, there, and everywhere, bringing you in a lot of money. All you have to do is just watch it going up on your computer. Why are you working so hard?" And he said, "You don't understand, do you?" He said, this project is just a small one, but I'll make $5 million after all the stuff is cleared, and then I'll be making a yearly amount, haven't worked it out yet, but, substantial." And I said, "Yeah, but you don't need it." He said, "No, I don't want anybody else to have it." See? Wasn't that he needed it, he just didn't want anybody else to have that for $5 million. That was his $5 million, and he was going to have it, even if it killed him, and it is on the way to doing that exact thing. Is that prosperity? No, that is not prosperity. So ask yourself, what is prosperity to you? What does that word mean to you? Is it wealth? Is it health? Is it ease? Is it family? What is it? What is prosperity to you? The Buddha sort of let us believe that it was having enough of the world's goods to be able to live the life we were meant to live with ease. Not easy, with ease. Without struggle, I think. And that, of course, leads into having faith and trust, but that's for another day. What is prosperity to you? ARTHA, A-R-T-H-A. The second of the Purushatras. Okay, I'm going to go now. I have some lovely Christmas cake to eat. I didn't buy Christmas cake, actually. I bought panettone this year, and it was such a good choice. About a third of the calories at least. Okay. Have a lovely day. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And I'm looking forward to a splendid new year. Namaste. What a gorgeous life we have.